Hey guys, tonight we slip into a world that's both magical and a little bit wild. Ancient Sparta. Imagine the gentle hum of crickets outside your window, a lazy cat stretching its paws at your feet, and that heavenly feeling of finally matching up your favorite mismatched pajamas. It's that time of night where your mind softly wanders, like you're floating on a cloud made of cotton candy. So, here's a cute thought. If you survive this storytelling session without dozing off, I owe you a high five. Before you get too comfy, feel free to tap like or subscribe, but only if you're genuinely enjoying the calm around here. Tell me where you're listening from and what time it is over there. I love seeing how far this sleepy little journey reaches. Now, go ahead and lower the lights. Maybe let a fan hum in the background, and let's drift gently into tonight's story together. You wake up to the sound of, well, let's say it could be a rooster, but we both know your Spotify alarm playlist is a far more peaceful wake-up call in today's world. As you stretch out your arms and legs, feeling the cool morning air on your skin, you glance around the room. There's no Instagram-worthy decor here, unless rustic wooden walls and Spartan simplicity is all the rage among ancient Pinterest boards. The air smells fresh, like the earth just sighed in relief, and outside, Spartan life is bustling into action. Okay? So here's the wild part. You, as a Spartan woman, wouldn't start your day with a splash of coffee or a check of unread emails, which are basically modern scrolls whispering for attention. Instead, imagine tying up your sandals, a necessity even when your dreams beckon you back to sleep. Your first task? Physical training. Yep, even before the sun fully rises, you're out there sparring, running, wrestling. I know, shocking, right? But that's what sets Spartans apart. Their society thrived on strength, like a perpetual gym membership from ancient times you couldn't escape. In all this hustle, you wonder, did they ever have a lazy day, just lounging around instead of jumping into action? Historians still argue whether Spartan women participated in military duties alongside men, or if their role was merely supportive. It's a heated debate, as spicy as Grandma's secret chili recipe, passed down with a wink that also says, good luck. Oh, did I mention the cheeky far-off hint of what they might have thought about? Like say you're practicing archery, and an onlooker utters, she hits more targets than a market vendor on sale day. It's like a friend sending you a meme to explain how hard it is to adult on Monday mornings. So, as the morning fog begins to lift, you're going about your exercises, breathing deeply while stealing quick glances at your fellow Spartans. The only small talk here? Maybe a nod or a sly grin. It's not like you had Instagram for distractions or AirPods to avoid awkward hi and hello between sets moments. Everything here is raw, personal, in the moment. Kinda like scrolling through reels on 2% battery, hoping to catch one last good laugh before your phone slips into oblivion. And as you catch your breath, you take in the Spartan landscape around you. Hills standing like proud elders, olive trees swaying slightly, knowing they're the most photogenic item around. You realize there's a kind of beauty in this simplicity, a vibe of early road trips without Google Maps, trusting the horizon to lead you somewhere worthwhile. Honestly, in this morning haze, it feels like a reminder from the universe that life isn't about the notifications or the perfectly curated photos. It's about these shared moments, even when history seems distant, tucked under a blanket of centuries. And tonight, as we dig deeper into the Spartan ways, Maybe you'll feel the echoes of their strength shuffle gently into dreams. There you are, stretching again, preparing to conquer the day without needing a 5-alarm snooze war. It's the ancient kind of productivity hack we've tried to master ever since. Not too bad for an ancient Spartan start, right? But let's save more of this journey for our next dreamy chapter, where the mysteries of Spartan life unfold slowly, like strengthening roots below the fertile soil. So relax. There's plenty more Spartan magic to unravel, right beside the glow of your favorite night lamp. As you leave the open training fields behind, where the early morning sun is beginning to cast long, sleepy shadows, you wander into the heart of Spartan society. You might be relieved to discover there's more to life here than sweaty mornings and a quest for eternal fitness. Imagine stepping into a community where education was as fundamental as breathing, even if it had its quirky twists. Yes, that's right. Education in Sparta was serious business. Girls and boys alike were schooled in a way that might make modern curriculums look a bit tame, honestly. Picture this: a blend of music, dance, and poetry, mixed with some of the physical routines you'd expect, all part of your everyday schedule. You know, it kind of beats sitting through a geometry class trying to figure out why x equals y, or if it ever did. Historians still argue whether Spartan education was as rigorous for girls as it was for boys, though. It's one of those murky points, like trying to remember if you really did promise to start working out tomorrow. But truthfully, it's more lost in translation than in motivation. These girls were taught to be strong, both of mind and body, so they could contribute to the community in a way that was celebrated, not hidden behind closed doors like a secretly muted group chat. And here's a nugget for you to munch on: the arts. Oh, Spartans had a flair for it too. You imagine twirling through a dance class, maybe feeling a bit like your modern self, scrolling through the day's TikToks and whimsically laughing at cat videos while pretending to take notes in a virtual lecture. Here, though, the laugh you share, the rhythm of feet tapping against the stone floors, isn't something trapped on a screen, but flutters in the air around you, vibrating with a timeless echo. So, as you stroll through this day of learning, your mind might play tricks and take a leap, like a notification ping you're not willing to ignore. Ever heard of Plutarch? He mentioned that Spartan women were famously witty, with a sharpness that was as dangerous as it was delightful. You can almost hear the sass rolling off their tongues like mini truth bombs being dropped, not unlike sending a snippet of snark through a text to lighten someone's momentary existential crisis. But here's the wild thing. Amid all this learning, did Spartan girls dream like you, or I would? Did they envision a future far from the dusty corners of their hometown into a big, sprawling world full of chaotic, buzzing adventures? Or were they more like someone lying content on their favorite couch, wrapped snugly in a warm blanket of certainty, embracing the life set before them with open arms? You move through your day, the sunlight dappling through the olive branches outside, casting gentle, moving patterns on the ground at your feet. And slowly, you understand that education wasn't just about the lessons or the physical conditioning. It was about preparing each woman to stand as a pillar of strength, holding up not just herself, but also her community. A reminder that women's roles here weren't as hidden as a Snapchat message gone too soon. So that taste of betterment, self and beyond, is tucked into yet another dreamy layer of your own modern life. Maybe next time you find yourself staring at the open tabs of a late-night study spree or reading a self-help article at 3 in the morning, you'll think of these Spartan girls and chuckle softly at the connection between their nutritious intake of knowledge and your caffeine-driven study hours. All right, that's enough to ponder tonight. A sprinkle of wisdom from ancient hills. Let's save the next bit, where we dive deeper into Spartan women's lives in ways you won't expect, for next time. Because everyone needs a touch of mystery and a chuckle before bedtime, and there's plenty more hidden behind the Spartan curtain. So, as you wander deeper into Spartan life, where the daily rhythm hums differently than anywhere else, you realize that being a woman here means you might just be part superwoman, minus the cape. But let's face it, capes probably wouldn't fly too well in Dr. Phil's living room setup anyway. Being strong isn't just a theme song around here, it's a lifestyle. You see these women putting their extraordinary physical training to good use, like a gym session led by an instructor who could probably lift the equipment itself. From running to wrestling, their athletic pursuits kept them in peak condition. Now, you're imagining the possibilities, right? These Spartan women could outsprint the marathon workouts you promise yourself on New Year's Day, but bail on by January 2nd. One real historical fact, ready to blow your sleepy mind, is that these women exercised alongside men, sometimes even competing with them. Think of it like co-ed gym class with a dash of no-nonsense Spartan competitiveness thrown in, like tearing through a group exercise class without batting an eyelash when someone shouts, "One more rep." Kind of makes you reevaluate those skipped Pilates sessions, doesn't it? But here's a quirky stitch in the quilt of history. Spartan women were possibly the first to wear what we might call shorts. Something about the practicality of it just sings like a song, doesn't it? While historians squabble over what exactly those garments were called, or how they fit into the grand fashion narrative, you can just picture our ancient lady warriors rocking these nifty numbers like they're the trendiest hit at Coachella. And here's a thought bubble to consider. Did these women ever train just for fun? Historians throw theories around like basketballs. Did Spartan women compete formally? Or was it all just training meant to show off to the fellas? It's like doing a fitness challenge on Instagram, where the line between encouragement and humble bragging gets as fuzzy as your neon leg warmers from a half-hearted 80s throwback workout. In the afternoon, the sun hangs lazily in the sky as if it's taking a break on its cosmic journey. The scene around you might remind you of napping on a cloud of soft fleece, cuddling with a puppy who's long accepted that it's his designated chore to brighten your existence. The olive trees sway gently, whispering secrets that only the afternoon breeze ever hears. And you, our brave Spartan wanderer, are left to soak up the wisdom of these strong women who embrace the world with bare hands. Oh, and did I mention that Spartan women had a bit of a reputation for being proactive? They managed their households, oversaw agricultural work, and were known to make the kind of executive decisions that today might require several rounds of Slack messages or 30 emails long enough to qualify as short stories. So here's where we wrap up for now. You're nestled in your little corner of history, with thoughts of strength, shorts, and a dash of ancient sass swirling around your mind like the last flakes of confetti at a New Year's party. Next time, we're diving deeper into the social behaviors that glued Spartan society together like an ancient version of a trending meme. Or perhaps, better yet, the anecdote-filled group chat we all secretly adore as our own community's history, there waiting to unfold. As you let yourself sink even deeper into the tapestry of ancient Spartan daily life, imagine yourself walking into a room full of Spartan women gathered for one of their many social events. A kind of ancient hangout, if you will, minus the Wi-Fi, but with all the connection. It's here that the fabric of social life is woven tightly, not unlike a never-ending thread on Twitter, or that group chat with notifications you just can't bring yourself to mute. These gatherings weren't just idle chatter. Oh no, there were discussions of household affairs, bits of wisdom shared, and maybe a little gossip here and there. The kind of tidbits that, let's face it, are timeless in any era. Can you picture the scene? A group of women swapping stories over pictures of their own version of kombucha, maybe, caught in a circle of laughter that stretches across centuries. In the heart of these gatherings lies a historical fact that's bound to surprise even the cynics among us. Spartan women managed estates and even had a say in who could be their future partners. This kind of autonomy would be like tossing the rule book out the window and watching the pieces flutter away like snowflakes of freedom. And truly, historians have often paused here, caught in the winds of debate over just how much influence these women wielded. Did they govern their estate like queens in their own right? Or was it more like a provisional power, while the men were away playing soldiers? Fun fact, some accounts suggest that, unlike women in other Greek city-states, Spartan women were remarkably outspoken. I mean, if there was ever a time to raise a metaphorical eyebrow, this might be it. You can almost hear them making quips that would get likes faster than your favorite meme could generate 1 million shares. They truly had tongues as sharp as their wits. Now, if you take a moment to translate this into modern terms, think about someone who's at every social gathering with the perfect one-liner, or who sends the group chat off into peals of laughter with a well-timed gif. Kinda makes you feel like you've found your tribe, doesn't it? Meanwhile, picture this. The soft chatter rising and falling like a gentle tide among these women, punctuated by those hearty laughs and perhaps the occasional exasperated sigh. The only thing missing might be the soft click of knitting needles or the flurry of typing on a keyboard. It's a comforting sort of scene where you could imagine easing into the conversation and blending in seamlessly with tales from your own life. One of the quirky elements here is that even the social hierarchies, primarily constructed around age and wisdom, didn't deter them from exchanging witty banter. Society was built in layers, with older women often serving as mentors, doling out life advice like resolution lists from last year you promised to fulfill this time around. I bet there were a few knowing glances, similar to that sneaky look you get from the one friend who knows exactly what you're thinking at a given moment. Historians still puzzle over how much of this camaraderie included women of different social classes, or if it strictly adhered to rank and privilege, sort of like wondering if everyone's truly welcome at that Pinterest-worthy DIY brunch, or if it's an exclusive club of aficionados. By the end of the day, the sun dips its toes into the horizon's edge, mirroring the peaceful yet vibrant scene still unraveling before you. As darkness softly blankets the sky, the echoes of conversation wind down gently into the cool night air. You tug at a shawl, pulling it tighter around your shoulders, feeling it embrace you in the way only familiar comfort can. Let's leave tonight's dreamscape lingering in the glow of flickering candles, with these stories and whispers resonating deep within the echoes of ancient rooms. Next time, we'll unravel more about family ties and the colorful dynamics that painted the canvas of everyday life in Spartan lands. Until then, let your thoughts drift sweetly, pulling the soft quilt of history snugly across your imagination. As you slip further into the folds of Spartan life, picture yourself nestled in a cozy corner of a Spartan home. More like the heart of it, really, where warmth and routines come together like the bubbles in a freshly brewed cup of herbal tea. In a world without video call, dates or messaging reminders that buzz like hyperactive fireflies, family life in Sparta was its own grand event. The role of women here was nothing short of pivotal. A Spartan woman's domain stretched across the household like the morning sun, peering through lazily drawn curtains. From overseeing daily chores to managing the land and helots, akin to the workers and servants of the household, the art of multitasking wasn't just a skill, but a finely honed talent. All this might make you wonder how well your own household would run by ancient standards. Cue the sheepish smiles of modern procrastination vibes. Here's a spritz of historical fact for you. A Spartan woman was in charge of supervising the labor and ensuring the household was self-sufficient. That's right. While Spartan men were away, these women were essentially CEOs of their own domains, juggling duties like ancient emails that never stopped coming. No delete button here, just a steady hand and a keen oversight. Now for a feather of quirky history to tickle your thoughts. Spartan meals were simple yet nutritious, and it's rumored that black broth, their staple dish, might not win any culinary awards today. But who knows? Maybe it could give those quirky recipe videos a run for their virality. Imagine the cooking shows. Cooking with Spartan flair. Embrace the black broth. Historians still argue whether the roles of women were as egalitarian as portrayed, or whether the accounts were given a positive spin by those with rosy nostalgia goggles. Were Spartan women as influential and respected in their domain as some suggest? Or is it the kind of lore that gets polished over time, like Grandpa's old fishing tales? Family relationships in Sparta were unique too. You might look at the bonds between parents and children, strained by the warrior's needs, yet strengthened by resilience, like a patchwork quilt stitched with memories. Spartan mothers, in particular, held a fierce reputation. Their sayings and teachings were often remembered with reverence and sometimes humor, like those sayings your grandmother would toss at you that seem nonsensical in the moment, but enlightening upon reflection. And speaking of Spartan moms, there's this saying attributed to them before their sons left for battle: "Come back with your shield or on it." Want to talk about stakes that couldn't be higher? Yeah, pretty sure that's the original intent's text message you wouldn't forget. Visualize the evenings, a cozy world framed by firelight dancing in the hearth, the soft murmur of conversations winding around the room, akin to your favorite podcast playing softly in the background. As night creeps in, these homes are cauldrons of stories, brewed slowly and shared generously, a chain of life lessons passed from one generation to the next. Let your mind savor this scene, one less bound by digital constraints and more woven into a tapestry of communal fabric, where familial ties breathe life into Spartan society like soft lullabies. Next time, we'll wander further into the complex web of Spartan marriages and love, a tale with enough drama and twists to rival any modern-day serialized saga. Until then, let these echoes of ancient rhythms soothe your thoughts as you nestle deeper into the night's embrace. As you lean deeper into the tapestry of Spartan life, cozy up for a glimpse into the world of Spartan marriages. Now, let's set the scene. A society where romance wasn't exactly the whimsical, hard-eyed affair you scroll past on Instagram. Forget candlelit dinners or sliding into someone's DMs. Spartan unions were as practical as lofting artisanal bread, shaped by tradition and strategic alliances. It was a whole different vibe. Imagine yourself being part of the community, watching from a cozy corner. Marriages in ancient Sparta were less about serendipity and more like arranging your apps so they serve a specific purpose: pure, unvarnished efficiency. See, Spartan families would often arrange these partnerships to strengthen familial ties and create desirable connections that even a LinkedIn influencer could only dream of. And here comes the juicy historical fact. Young brides often had to undergo a tradition that was more escape room masquerade than fairy tale. In a sense, when a marriage was decided, the bride-to-be had her hair cut short and was dressed like a man. She'd then be abducted by her groom before being taken to their dwelling. Imagine having your wedding outfit double as an unforgettable disguise. Now that's an icebreaker at future dinner parties, assuming they lived in a time where you had dinner parties. Despite its peculiar beginning, the pull of Spartan marriages cannot be understated. Ladies held significant sway at home, and Sparta was quite radical in allowing this compared to other Greek states. It's a thoughtful reminder that women here possessed a kind of inner authority, managing households while also nurturing, sustaining, and maintaining the legacy of their line. A legacy passed down not through scrolling feeds, but through soulful stories told by flickering firelight. Okay, here's the banter-worthy nugget. Spartan weddings, where humor or good nature was a priority, reportedly included guests making playful jibes at the couple. So, think of it like a roast. A loving roast where everyone chipped in. It's comforting to consider how this tradition of jest might still reflect a tenderness woven between those like-hearted souls. Still, you have to ponder historians' debates about whether affection found its place at the Spartan hearth. Was love given room to bloom with tenderness? Or did bonds form more from a duty perspective, not unlike fulfilling those adulting tasks you procrastinate until motivation or mom strikes? Opinions vary as widely as dramatic series remakes. But as you witness these relationships unfold, you feel the woven strands of understanding between partners, a tapestry intricately crafted with gold threads of shared responsibility and mutual respect that even today's news feeds would do well to highlight. So perhaps, amid the societal structures and time-honored traditions, there lay nestled moments of genuine connection, like the warmth of a friendly text sent across time zones. The day draws to a close, and as the sun dips low in the sky, draping the land in twilight hues, you watch homes light up one by one, a congress of hearths warmly flickering against the cool night. In this place, where love isn't always hard on your sleeve, it's the steadfast bond beneath the surface that holds lasting courage and silent fortitude, a kind of love spoken in actions rather than words. As you tuck these thoughts into your mind's quilt and lay soft witness as the night deepens, remember that our next dreamy step beckons us further into the realm of Spartan motherhood, a tale draped in tenacity, fierce like a warrior cat curled on your lap, a beating heart against the quiet world. Until then, let these thoughts lull like a whispered goodnight, peaceful dreams await by the glow of the moon. Nestle in as we step softly into the world of Spartan mothers, whose strength was as enduring as the mountains that framed the Spartan landscape. Picture them, pillars of enduring resolve, shaping the very backbone of their society. If Spartan life were a novel, these women would be the unsung heroes in every subplot, weaving through the pages with a quiet kind of power akin to the hum of your fridge at midnight, steady and always present. One of the most famous aspects of Spartan motherhood is those iconic sayings. You've heard of them, right? Come back with your shield, or on it. Now that's the Spartan equivalent of a no-nonsense text sent before leaving home. A warrior's version of an I love you, sent with the gravitas of mountains. Spartan mothers weren't just figures of nurturing comfort. They were the steadfast keepers of courage and duty, urging their children into the world, expectations gleaming like polished armor. And here's a neat historical fact nestled gently among these tales. Spartan women bore a greater level of judicial and social respect than many of their contemporaries in ancient Greece. This allowed them, and especially mothers, to influence and guide decisions within families and the broader community. It was a power dynamics model that many might find quite progressive even today, like spotting a vintage trend making a full-circle modern comeback. Spartan boys were sent off to the agoge, a rigorous training program, at the tender age of 7. This was a separation Spartan mothers came to expect, even if it tugged at their heartstrings, much like releasing a cherished balloon into the sky with a hopeful hand. These training years were formative, not just for nurturing potential warriors, but for shaping resilient individuals, a strength conceived from inside those Spartan households. Now, for something to tickle your fancy, it's rumored that humor found its way into Spartan motherhood as well. An anecdote tells of a Spartan woman who boasted about her son's bravery in battle despite him having fled the field. On his mother's side, of course, she might quip, inviting the room to join in laughter that trickled like sunlight through the olive trees. It's that timeless cheek and levity woven gently into the tapestry of maternal joys and woes, not any less true today. Historians still prod at the puzzle of how much autonomy Spartan mothers truly had within this unique structure. Were their voices always welcome at every table, or did they bide their time, like foxes in the underbrush, until their influence subtly reweaved the world around them? These enigmas rustle through historical discourse, ancient conundrums shuffling beside us like leaves across an autumn sidewalk. In the final dappled light of day, you realize that Spartan motherhood was a symphony composed of both grit and grace. It's fascinating to think about all those stories woven into the fabric of their days, passed from heart to heart over the evening fire, perhaps with children gathered just within earshot, the warmth of those stories wrapping around them like a tender embrace. As you let thoughts of bygone Spartan mothers tuck you in tonight, imagine their influence stretching across time, rippling softly along the fabric of history. Next up, we'll explore whether these warrior-hearted women clashed in Sparta's battles, and how this experience, real or perceived, might echo through the nights. Let these reflections float gently on the surface of your dreams, cradled by the silence of the night, and may your thoughts nestle warmly under the twilight spell until a new dawn beckons. As the first light of dawn whispers across the Spartan hills, filling the landscape with soft, golden hues, you find yourself pondering the place Spartan women held in the arena of combat. True, It's an age-old question, swirled with the mesmerizing mystery of a fairy tale. Imagine stepping into a world where the lines between battlefields and home intertwined like ivy around ancient columns, each leaf a whisper of potential and prowess. Now, here's a historical twist. While direct participation in battles by Spartan women is largely unverified, historians warm their speculating cups over this fire. They did engage vigorously in physical training, a regimen as rigorous as any soldier's. It was this preparation that made them formidable, more than spectators of the battlefield's call. And so, the debate continues with all the intensity of a group chat argument about whether pineapple really belongs on pizza. One quirky side note lingers provocatively. Some tales suggest these women, through training and demeanor, could deter invaders simply by standing on the city's walls. It's like saying the mere sight of them conveyed such Spartan resolve. They didn't need a spear in hand to influence the score of victory. True, the scenario seems almost mythical, but a part of you wonders, could it be true? Is perception sometimes as powerful as the act itself? Historians still argue whether legends, like those of the Cryptaea, Sparta's mysterious martial group, might have also included fierce women participants under wraps. Perhaps, in clandestine corners, their influence was felt stronger than ever reported. It's a wild puzzle piece, begging to be placed or totally ignored, like the ancient world's version of hidden Easter eggs. Strolling through the valley where rumors meet reality, you see these women marching alongside their thoughts and their dreams, set against the backdrop of hills that have witnessed centuries of whispers and wars. Maybe they never lifted a sword in battle. Yet, in their physical resilience, their influence was subtle and far-reaching, a quiet symphony resonating beyond the heart of the city, much like an echo of lullabies sung just above a child's ear. In your mind's eye, picture an everyday drill commanded by a Spartan woman on the training field, perhaps amidst bustling curiosities and half-formed opinions. It's been said that through drills and exercises, women contributed to Sparta's ambiance of readiness, a strategy employed for societal resilience, just as you might layer your life with Plan Bs, right down to the tiny task of setting 3 alarms, with the secret intention to snooze twice. These Spartan women commanded attention on multiple fronts, engaging not with weapons in hand, but bearing weapons of influence and insight, a harmony played out within the corridors of society. It's the gentle strength of knowing that contributing to defense was not merely wielding a spear, but wielding the tool of nurture, a blade refined to shape warriors and citizens infused with Spartan ideals. As the world turns from blue to violet to a tapestry woven in strands of gold, these echoes grow hushed, nestling deeper into the day. Next time, look forward to wandering through the fashionable side of Sparta, maybe catching a glimpse of what those whispers on the street meant for everyone's favorite style icon of the ancient world. Until then, let the soothing cadence of quiet contemplation become your companion, wrapping you in a soothing embrace that follows into drifting dreams and the hush of resting leaves. As the morning breeze gently sways the olive branches, you wander further into the fabric of Spartan society, this time through a runway of ancient fashion that speaks softly of practicality and understated elegance. Picture yourself walking through a Spartan marketplace where simplicity and purpose are the trendsetters of the day, a far cry from the flooded feeds of fashion influencers singing the praises of bold styles and indiscriminate patterns. The draping garments of Spartan women were designed for movement, crafted with a sense of freedom at heart, prioritizing utility over showiness. It's like finding that perfect pair of jeans that aren't too tight or too loose and have pockets deep enough to fit more than just a hope and dream. Now, here's where it becomes fascinating. While other Greek states may have embraced elaborate patterns and intricate decorations, Sparta's minimalistic taste stood out like a quiet whisper amid the clamorous roar of an haute couture fashion show. And here's a historical tidbit to stitch into your thoughts. Spartan women's garments, known as peplos, allowed them freedom of movement and were often shorter than those worn elsewhere in Greece. Functional, like those beloved joggers you can't quite give up. Versatile, yet classic. It's said that Spartan women were encouraged to bear their strength without inhibition, a contrast to the fabric-laden, demure designs found in neighboring regions. Now, here's something a bit quirky. Sandals were typically simple, but they often had cunningly designed soles that left patterns or even messages in the dusty trails they crossed. You can almost hear the gentle chuckle at the notion of these ancient, secret texts, a prelude to that satisfying sound of notifications that tell you truly juicy secrets await. Still, the debate lingers in the halls of historical exploration. Were these fashion choices born purely from function or sneaky rebellion against the more elite clothing tastes of their time? Did Spartan simplicity defiantly laugh in the face of ornate excess, or was it merely the sensible path that supported their way of life? As mysterious as a flash sale at your favorite store. Walking through this Spartan stylescape, you can't help but notice how this fashion blended into their culture. Neat, practical, efficient. Strip back the layers of today's fast fashion, and you just might find traces of Spartan influence in those capsule wardrobe essentials that promise to transcend seasonal whims. Imagine slipping into a peplos today, embracing standout minimalism as a nod to an era where function and form seamlessly entwined like waking thoughts just before sleep. As the day rolls lazily on, the sun casts sequential shadows around you, overlapping like the gentle overlap of fabric in a gracefully draped garment. You sense the whispers of ancient style echoing throughout the city, swirling in the air like a fleeting memory, sweetly lingering on the edge of awareness. Let these thoughts of quiet fashion courage lull you gently into the next chapter, where you're invited to explore the spaces of relaxation and revelry. Those times when Spartan society pressed pause on the grind to celebrate life. Until then, huddle into your coziest corner, whispering promises of dreams felt but never quite seen, as if drawn out into a night woven with starlit threads, softly urging you to follow wherever they lead. As Spartan twilight descends, the city begins to shimmer under a canopy of stars, a gentle reminder that even the most industrious of societies knew how to pause. A lesson utterly necessary then, as it is now amidst our own fast-paced, light-driven lives. Imagine walking through the warm glow of evening fires and lanterns, feeling the layers of contentment wrap around you like an oversized, well-loved sweater. For every thread of determination woven into the Spartan ethos, there also existed strands of celebration and festivity. You see, Spartan society wasn't all about drills and routines. They knew how to indulge in life's rhythms with vigor and joy. Holidays and festivals were woven into their lives, much like our favorite long weekends are marked on calendars with hopeful circles. A time to breathe, to laugh, to live beyond the daily grind. Here's a historical fact that dances through the air like a street performer on a bustling corner. The Gymnopedia, a festival dedicated to dance and athletic contests, was a highlight in the Spartan year. Picture vibrant displays of skill and strength that celebrated youth and vitality, where dances performed would mirror the movements of warriors and athletes. It's a splash of color on the canvas of life, like the hype surrounding a highly anticipated blockbuster weekend. Spontaneous, communal, resonating. Now, add a dash of whimsy into the mix with this little oddity. The festival, known as the Hyacinthia, a tribute to the hero Hyacinthus, stretched over several days and was split into stages of brilliance and solemnity. It's said that they incorporated musical performances, making everyday musicians temporarily as exalted as pop icons with decades-spanning careers. A strange mixing pool of gravity and levity, life and its contrasts, almost as peculiar and engaging as karaoke nights segueing into philosophical debates about the merits of sweet versus sour sauce. Historians still ruminate over whether Spartan festivals were purely civic engagements, or if they harbored undercurrents of personal rivalries and social maneuvering, like a reunion where meaningful glances are exchanged alongside obligatory small talk about the weather. Did these gatherings hold hidden agendas, or were they purely realms of unfiltered camaraderie? The truth, perhaps, is a smattering of both, like searching for depth in a shallow pool while it jovially splashes your ankles. In the gentle embrace of Spartan festivity, you sense the balancing act of a community that understood the value of celebrating individualism within collectiveness. Bodies moving and mingling, stories exchanged with the ease of leaves fluttering in an impromptu breeze. It's the same charm to be found at sunset campfires or summer block parties, where laughter mingles with the crackle and pop of shared warmth. As the night deepens into a comfortable blur of dreams just beyond reach, this is where we pause our journey for now. When you join next time, we'll peek into the tangle of economics and wealth, a glimpse into the resources that underpin the Spartan way, solidifying the steadfast structures of their world around them. Now, let this reflection fold you into restful slumber, where whispers of Spartan celebrations drift leisurely across your dreams, guiding you into soft shadows of night like a gentle lullaby echoing through the deepest corners of past and present. As you awaken beneath the wide Spartan sky, the landscape slowly brightens to reveal a world tied together by more than just its physical might. Today, we take a leisurely stroll through the Athenian agorus of economics and wealth, those unseen forces shaping daily life as surely as the currents shape the sea. It's akin to understanding the gears beneath your favorite app, what makes it tick and transform, spun in the web of ancient fiscal threads. Picture this. In Sparta, wealth wasn't amassed in treasuries crammed with glinting coins or stashed within saving apps promising future happiness. Instead, the economy was a flex of barter and agriculture. Land was the gold mine, not unlike the value of staying connected in today's world through that one reliable Wi-Fi hotspot. Economic power here lay in the land's bounty: olive oil, grain, wine, the staples so ingrained they'd pair nicely with that celebrated avocado toast. Ubiquitous across brunch tables everywhere. And in a neat historical twist, Spartan society famously frowned upon the use of gold and silver currency. Instead, their money was made of bulky, cumbersome iron bars, a quaint little throwback to a time when worth was defined by weight, not the shiny promise of digital transfers. Imagine carrying a purse filled with the weight of economy, or better yet, dragging a cart meant to tote your monthly funds. Talk about a pocket accessory that demands its own gym membership. Yet amid this ironclad economy, here's a strange nugget. These iron bars were rumored to have been deliberately made unattractive, discouraging theft. Less a treasure and more a precautionary story embedded in surplus supply. It's a peculiar reminder of the mottled territory between value and practicality. Today, perhaps, it's like diamonds unfitted for rings, all glamour stripped to curb acquisitive hands. Historians probe the boundary between myth and reality in Sparta's unique relationship with wealth. Did their abstention from glitz and gleam genuinely drive moral superiority? Or was it pragmatic simplicity meant to shield society from the envy avarice often breeds? The Spartan strategy, they ponder, may lie somewhere in the middle, where idealism meets necessity. As you walk the paths where Spartan women held greater command over wealth than their sisters in other Greek states, you grasp the nuanced role they played, negotiating trades, preserving household economy, and acting with an acumen fitting of modern CEOs. Their influence rests in quiet power, as understated as their minimalist robes, yet as potent as any powerhouse business icon. In the warmth of the midday sun, one might observe life continuing its rhythmic dance around the marketplace. The shouts of sellers peddling their wares, the gentle barter of olives for bread, small exchanges forging connections not captured in the tally of spreadsheets, but in the ebb and flow of community life. And so, with this understanding, you reflect upon the Spartan world, a fabric composed of efficiency and practicality, lessons seamed into the wayward tides of life that anchor and guide us in familiar ways. Next, we will wander into the realm of religious life and rituals, where their beliefs pulse quietly beneath the surface of Spartan resolve. Until then, carry these thoughts with you, like gentle sparks flickering at the edges of consciousness, wrapping your mind in thoughts both ancient and reflective, as dreams gently sway you into star-kissed slumber. As the Spartan dawn blends into the gentle hues of morning, you find yourself wandering into realms less tangible, those woven intricately into the spiritual and the sacred. Here, amid whispering winds and the effervescent scent of morning dew, we embark upon the journey of religion and rituals in ancient Sparta, a journey as layered and enigmatic as the constellations casting their light in nightly dances above. In Spartan society, religion wasn't a mere backdrop, but a living force threading through the very sinew of their lives. If you close your eyes and inhale deeply, perhaps you can sense the subtle aroma of burning herbs, sacred offerings wafting into the sky like wishes whispered on the breath of the universe. Temples and shrines stood as sanctuaries where everyday life touched the divine, anchoring the spirit of community in the blessings of the gods. Let's sprinkle in a factual gem. Worship in Sparta often revolved around deities associated with aspects of war and fertility, like Artemis Orthia and Apollo. Rituals and festivals honored these gods, drawing the community into collective Eucharist, a timeless tide echoing even today's communal celebrations. It's the same dynamic sense as that shared thrill when screaming in unison at a concert's crescendo, the rush of unity engulfing each soul in an invisible dance. And then there's the curious tale of the Hyacinthia Festival, a solemn tribute transitioning into joyous celebration over 3 days. Like seasonal rituals across ages, it bridged life's myriad aspects, reflecting the poignant blend of light and shadow that colors each existence. You could almost compare it to a three-act theater, a drama where the mundane kissed the miraculous, inviting reflection and revelry in equal measure. Yet, as with many ancient narratives, historians still find themselves tangled in debate. Was Spartan piety a private solemnity, or did public displays own the stage, enforcing community bonds above individual contemplations? Did the divine presence speak in whispered intimacies or broadcast assertively through the communal voice? These considerations weave in and out of scholarly musings with the elegance of a constellational waltz. Each theory a star contributing its light, brightening the scholarly sky. Picture now a Spartan woman before an altar, perhaps clad in simple white robes, an olive wreath resting upon her head. Her prayers, whispered like secrets, slip skyward, mingling with the rustling leaves, the vibrancy of their faith painting unseen patterns into the ether. A moment of serenity, a timeless snapshot, connecting her to both the earth below and sky above. Moreover, the enigmatic cryptia, part ritual, part secret service, keeps historians' fires fueled with conjecture. Was it a rite testing endurance? A mysterious vow tracking under the radar, like nostalgia buried beneath the layers of one's favorite old playlist? The cloak of intrigue enwraps it even now. As shadows lengthen into the gentle embrace of evening, and you feel your thoughts drift, remember that Spartan spirituality was widely felt, but deeply personal. It was a communion singing softly within each heart, weaving vitality into the fabric of a world forever reaching beyond itself. Ordinary and extraordinary, everyday and eternal. When you next join this journey, it will be to uncover the mysteries of the cryptia, a tale enigmatic and enticing in equal measure. For now, allow this contemplation to rock you gently into an embrace of sleep, where the whispers of gods and the rustle of ancient wings drift with and guide you sweetly into the quiet realms of night's blessings. As the sun sets across the Spartan landscape, you wander into the intriguing shadows of the cryptia, that mysterious element of Spartan society that feels like an ancient secret cloaked within the folds of history. Picture this: a clandestine group shrouded in silences as deep as the seas surrounding this storied land. It's the kind of enigma that sends shivers tingling down the spine, much like encountering those rare, spine-tingling urban legends whispered around campfires today. The cryptia, often thought of as a secret service or a rite of passage for young Spartan men, was wrapped in ritual and necessity. Imagine young Spartans, during the twilight of their Agog's training, drawn into this covert training phase, blending survival skills with this shadowy art of subterfuge, a combination as bold as trading secrets in an unmarked envelope, hidden beyond the reach of prying eyes. Here's a historical morsel to chew on. The cryptia may have served several purposes, from controlling the Helot population, Sparta's state-owned serfs, to instilling discipline and survival instincts in its members. It's like a Spartan edition of pulling an all-nighter. Instead of textbooks and energy drinks, there's raw earth and a sky painted with stars guiding the mission. The blend of peril and purpose created a microcosm of Spartan discipline. Now, let's dive into a quirky aspect. Some tales suggest this was all done under the thick veil of darkness, a test of stealth and endurance magnified tenfold when the moonlight painted everything in eerie blue tones. A moonlight escapade that, no doubt, tempted any heart with an adventurous inclination. The kind of escapade that might prompt you to throw on running shoes on a whim, just to feel the rush of night air. Yet historians, with their tender and persistent curiosity, debate whether the Crypteia was truly a rite of passage or a more sinister chapter in the Spartan social order, like questioning the motives behind a cryptic text received from an ex. The speculation is as thick as the fog that sometimes rolls in from the valleys, wrapping around cities and stories alike, blurring the lines between legend and substantiation. You picture those young Spartans on their nocturnal journeys, blending seamlessly with the silhouettes of trees, learning from the rhythm of nature, adapting to an environment where sounds become symphonies and instincts turn into guides. It was an education bared before the watchful eyes of the cosmos, with the universe itself as both witness and teacher. For women, the involvement in something as secretive as the Crypteia is as much a labyrinth as any mythical minotaur's lair. Were Spartan women ever indirectly involved, possibly in support or through the undercurrents of influence? Did whispers of these clandestine acts seep through the familial bonds, merging into the daily discourse in ways hidden but unfathomably present? As evening winds down and the blanket of night softens the landscape, this tale of the Crypteia adds enigmatic texture to our understanding of Spartan life, a thread not often seen but always felt. Next time, we'll unravel the myths and legacies Spartan women left behind, as hints of their stories blend seamlessly into the dawn of a new chapter. Relax now. Let the rhythm of Spartan secrets merge with the gentle hum of your surroundings, and let thoughts of moonlit paths cradled in ancient whispers drift you sweetly into the embrace of restorative night. As the first hints of dawn begin to paint the Spartan horizon, imagine yourself drawn into the legacy of Spartan women, a softly woven tapestry of myths and realities still visible through the mists of time. It's like uncovering a long-lost diary, its pages filled with whispers that speak of resilience and influence, echoing through the corridors of history like a gentle heartbeat. Spartan women, often depicted as formidable and outspoken, stand apart in the Greek world. They left behind stories that, much like your favorite unfinished book series, tease with provocations and daring passages. These women were portrayed both as caretakers and power wielders, a paradox that historians savor like a rare vintage aged just right. Here's a delightful historical stitch for you. Unlike their counterparts in other Greek city-states, Spartan women were allowed, and indeed encouraged, to own property and wealth. This economic independence meant they held significant influence, almost like today's influencers, although their platforms were built on land ownership rather than social media metrics. Can you imagine the sway they held, commanding respect in realms typically dominated by men? We meander into the quirky tale of Queen Gorgo, the wife of King Leonidas. Legend has it that when asked why Spartan women could rule men, she replied with a wit as sharp as an arrowhead, "Because we are also the only ones who give birth to men." A statement wrapped so tightly in logic and humor that it would surely break the internet had it existed then. Even now, historians love to noodle over whether Spartan women were as autonomous as some ancient accounts suggest. While their societal standing and freedoms were well documented, the question remains whether these liberties were as liberating in practice as they sound in theory. Were these roles filled with empowerment, or were they bounds loosely tied by expectation? The answers remain tantalizingly out of reach, like dangling a bucket list dream just inches from your grasp. Visualize, if you will, a Spartan woman standing at the precipice of the known world, her gaze steadfast and wide, spanning horizons both realized and immaterial. Her presence is potent. Each step she takes ripples through the air, carrying the echoes of countless others whose footsteps preceded hers, a legacy enduring in whispers and in wonder. As tales of their lives were passed down, they transformed into myths and legends, each iteration a brushstroke painting Spartan women in hues brighter and more illustrious. Are they reflected accurately in those stories, or reshaped by the teller's beliefs and biases, each amplification both preserving and morphing their ancient narrative? As you walk this path, cradled by the stories of old, consider their shadows gently mingling with your own, infusing resilience, wisdom, and wit into your life's tapestry. And as thoughts settle into the twilight, lingering like the much-loved scent of an old fabric softener hovering in the air, the promise of more awaits. Next, we'll feel our way through the nuances that myth and reality painted on the broad canvas of Spartan women, bridging the past into each beat of the present's gentle hum. For now, let your eyes flutter close to the rhythm of drawn-out night, nestling within the harmonious blend of ancient tales and modern echoes, until dreams weave tenderly through slumber, guiding you quietly, comfortably, onward. As the morning sun gently stretches across the Spartan landscape, imagine stepping into the woven narratives of myth and reality that envelop the women of Sparta. Stories that blend seamlessly into the fabric of time, whispering of courage and influence. It's like stumbling upon an old family photo album, each snapshot a testament to the lives that shaped a legacy deeply etched into the soils and hearts of Sparta. In the tapestry of Greek mythology, Spartan women often feature as symbols of strength and wisdom, and yet, sifting through these stories is like navigating through a stream of consciousness where facts and fables dance in an intricate waltz. Picture their myths as luminous constellations glittering against the inky backdrop of history. Each star, a moment, a story, a life. Let's saunter into a fascinating historical tidbit. The mythological founder of Sparta, Queen Gorgophone, was said to have married twice, an act that was rare and daring in Greek antiquity, casting her as a figure of autonomy and resilience. It echoes a sensational tale of defying expectations, much like an audacious plot twist in a show that keeps you glued to the screen at 2 a.m., promising just one more episode. There's also the story of Helen of Sparta, better known as Helen of Troy, whose tale spans nations and legends, embodying both the allure and complexities inherent in the role of Spartan women. Historians love to tussle over Hellenistic lore's accuracy, often debating whether her legendary beauty, said to have launched 1,000 ships, was emblematic of deeper political ploys or purely poetic hyperbole. Was she merely a pawn in grander schemes, or a symbol of agency amid swirling epic narratives? Here's a quirky perspective to ponder. The Spartan penchant for the direct and the plain might cast an almost comedic juxtaposition against Helen's exaggerated Hellenic imagery, like imagining a minimalist art aficionado surrounded by Rococo extravagance, adding a touch of humor to an otherwise serious narrative. Spartan women continue to mystify historians, their images immortalized both in the carved stone of archaeological sites and the etched pages of literary annals. There's the enduring question of how much of their story is sculpted by historical truth and how much by the imaginations of those recording their deeds. Are their depictions authentic windows into ancient lives, or mere reflections distorted by the lens of time? As you let these stories of old wrap around you, consider the unseen threads connecting us across epochs. Imagine those Spartan women as they truly were, standing on the precipice of history, weaving their own stories with every choice. An echoing reminder of resilience passed through generations like a treasured heirloom. As the day unfolds and the shadows softly shorten, lingering thoughts of myths dispelling into the serene landscape, prepare for next time's unraveling. The chance to feel the pulse of Spartan society through its lasting legacies, where ancient stories and modern interpretations entwine effortlessly. Let the scents and sounds of this ancient world lull you gently, guiding you into a dusk where dreams hover warm and patient, waiting to weave their magic through the quiet depths of your slumber, cradling you as softly as the stars light the vast Spartan night.